All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever gotten that strange feeling, that feeling that what we call reality isn't the whole story? That maybe everything we see, everything we touch is just a surface? Well, buckle up, because we're about to explore a wild idea that says just that our entire universe is basically a hologram, a massive, incredibly detailed projection.
And that's the core of it, really. Every single moment of your life, every decision, every feeling, every thought, it's all part of this cosmic film. You're not just a spectator watching the universe unfold. You are the movie. We all are. So, okay, if we're the movie, then what's the projector, right? Well, the answer might just be the most mysterious, most powerful object in the entire cosmos, a black hole. How on earth does that work? Let's break it down. First things first, every movie needs a screen. So I want you to imagine our entire three-dimensional world, everything around you, is actually being played out on a flat, two-dimensional surface, just like a movie being projected onto a giant screen at the theater. Now, in physics, this screen has a name you've probably heard before, the event horizon. It's that famous point of no return around a black hole. But in this theory, it's so much more. It's the holographic film, the surface, where all the information that makes up you, me, and the stars is projected. But here's the clever part. We're not seeing a direct feed. The information playing out on this screen is actually a reflection. Think about it like this. You're watching a TV, but you're not looking at the TV itself. You're watching its reflection in a mirror across the room. It's a neat trick that lets us see what's happening inside the black hole without ever having to go in. Okay, so if the event horizon is our screen, that brings us back to the big question. What's the projector? How does all that information from the deepest, darkest part of a black hole get beamed onto the screen for us to experience? Well, the process is kind of like an infinity mirror. You know, when you put two mirrors facing each other? At the very heart of the black hole is a singularity, this point of basically infinite density. Let's think of it as a perfect spherical mirror. The event horizon is the second surface surrounding it. Information, in the form of entangled particles, bounces back and forth between the singularity and the screen until, poof, it escapes the boundary as what we know as Hawking radiation. And this analogy just nails it. The singularity is like a spinning record, with all the information of the entire universe etched into its grooves. Hawking radiation is the needle, tracing those grooves and reading the information. And the projection on the holographic screen, our reality, you and me, well, we're the music that's being played. So we've got a screen, we've got a projector, but what is this cosmic movie actually made of? What are the fundamental pixels of our reality? It turns out the screen itself is made of some seriously weird stuff called quark-gluon plasma. This stuff is just bizarre. I mean, think about it. If you pour hot water into a cold bath, it takes a few minutes for the temperature to even out, right? Quark-gluon plasma does that. It reaches thermal equilibrium at pretty much the speed of light. It's the perfect, super responsive canvas for our reality to be projected onto. And the information that's being projected? It all comes down to frequencies, vibrations, what we call dark energy, which makes up a whopping 68% of the universe, is just a bunch of frequencies that cancel each other out. The 5% we can actually see, the luminous matter, are prime frequencies that amplify each other. And dark matter? Well, that's the 27% in the middle, with a little bit of coherence. So the main takeaway here is this. Our universe basically acts like a giant quantum computer. But unlike our computers, which run on ones and zeros on a silicon chip, the code for our reality is written directly into the geometry of space-time itself. The code is the fabric of the universe. All right, let's pull back from the cosmic scale for a minute and get personal. If we are just a projection, an image beamed from a black hole, what does that actually mean for us, for our sense of self? This is where it gets really, really strange. Because of relativity, your perspective is everything. So say you fall into a black hole. From your point of view, you just cross the event horizon, and that's it. You're gone. But to your friend watching from a safe distance, they'd see something totally different. They'd see you slow down, until you seem to freeze right at the edge, eventually getting smeared across the surface like a two-dimensional hologram. The black hole is both a destroyer and a preserver, keeping your information safe as a projection. And the implication of that is just profound. It means that deep down in the singularity, all the information that makes up the universe, you, me, every single star and galaxy, it all exists together in one unified point. We are, quite literally, all one. But on the screen, in the projection, that information gets separated out and we experience life as individuals. Our sense of being a separate me is part of the movie. So when you put all these pieces together, what do you get? Well, looking at the universe as a hologram really forces you to throw out some of the most basic ideas you have about reality. For starters, there's no such thing as a smooth, perfect curve. It's an illusion. Just like the circle on your phone screen is actually made of thousands of tiny square pixels, our smooth reality is made of unimaginably tiny space-time pixels at what's called the Planck length. If you could zoom in far enough, you'd see that everything is actually jagged. And second, the possibilities in our universe are not infinite. According to something called the Bekenstein bound, the total number of ways you can arrange all the information in our universe is this number. It's 2 to the power of 123. It's a number so big it makes your head spin. But the key thing is, it's finite. And here is the absolutely mind-bending consequence of that finite number. If the universe goes through cycles, big bangs and big crunches, then eventually it has to run out of new ways to arrange itself. The pattern must repeat. Every possible history that can happen will happen, and it will happen again and again and again. And that leads us to one final, huge thought. If our entire reality is a geometric program running on a cosmic quantum computer, and if we're just now starting to understand its language of frequencies and information, does that mean that someday we could learn how to write the code ourselves? And if we could, what would you create?